I want to constantly bring different topics to this podcast. And so I don't only want to talk about relationships in different ways. And so let's talk about something a little different. And there's a lot of things going on today with the US dollar. And I don't know what people know or don't know. I guess we'll find out as we speak here. But there's a lot of shit going on with the US dollar. And I was wondering, as average Joes that we are you concerned about the current state of the US dollar? Why or why not?
I guess I'll chime in first.
Do it.
So, for context, for everybody, I guess here and also watching, the U.S. and I don't know the whole extent of everything. All I know is that India has stopped using the dollar as their currency and reverting to their own. And I believe Japan recently stopped buying oil from us and is exclusively buying oil from Russia. Both will affect the dollar tremendously, for both are thriving economies, and both are
You see what you did there.
uh, and both are is going to be it's going to be a nasty hit. The problem that I see with the current state of politics, and I'm not going to get political, um, it's not even a big mention because everybody's focusing on other things that also do need to be rectified as well. But yeah, we're not going to see it now. We're definitely going to see this probably by the end of summer. Am I concerned? Yes, I am concerned because the value of the dollar is diminishing more and more. And
Right.
even though you know the Russian currency is null and void to most because of what's going on over there with what they did with the Ukraine and what they're doing with Ukraine, not what they did because it's still going on. Um, it's not going to be pretty for us. It's not going to be pretty for, and I don't say us because I'm on the team, us because I live here. Um, that's a different topic for another day. However, this is going to be very impactful, and I don't know how or when exactly because I'm not uh, a currency guru. I just know that when I read that headline, when I read those headlines, which happened to be about in the same week, I know that it's very concerning.
So it is China, Russia, Brazil, India, Asian nations, Kenya, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE are now using local currencies in trade. The global de-dollarization campaign is gaining momentum as countries around the world seek alternatives to the US dollar. Just to help you out there, brother.
All I read was those two, but it's even worse than what I thought.
Yep. And so that paired with our just coming out of a pandemic, I was curious, what y'all feeling like?
Well, it sounds like a bunch of countries ghosted America.
Hold on. I forgot one
They
more thing.
ghosted America.
I forgot
Good.
one more thing. I forgot to mention also that the banks almost fucking blew up on themselves like 2.5 weeks ago,
Yeah, yeah.
and they're still going through this. They're not recovered yet. It's not officially recovered yet.
No.
So
Wow.
it's
And that's
Mr.
why I'm
Robot.
asking. Right.
Mr.
That's why I'm
Robot needs
asking.
to happen. That's it, bro.
Mr. Robot, holler. Go ahead, Days, because you started and got cut off.
No, I was joking by saying, it sound like all those countries ghosted America, but I think it draws heavy concern because, the more the value of the dollar goes down, right? We said goes down,
Mm-hmm.
um, the more everything else goes up. Usually we suffer, we pay for it, quote unquote, the little people.
Mm-hmm.
Prices in stores go up, then you have gouging, of course. Um, and it's not like the cost of living, the cost of living, like the way they paying you it's not adding up to the resources around you. So it draws heavy concern, you know.
Okay. Go ahead, Dre. I know you wanted to talk. I saw you leaning in.
Yeah, uh, I was gonna go last, but it doesn't matter. So I mean, some of you might know that I'm somewhat familiar with these things because I do follow what's going on worldwide, and we all should be concerned. right? So, quick history lesson. The dollar used to be tied to gold. It used to be said that a dollar is as good as gold because the United States tied the value of a dollar to our gold and our reserves. And that made a stable dollar. And so the world was like, yo, this is a stable currency. Let's just all buy and trade with it. The US was trustworthy at that time. Then, about the 70s, Richard Nixon was like, well, what we're going to do is temporarily untie the US dollar from gold and make it what we have now is a fiat currency, meaning nothing really gives it power but me telling you legally, this, you're going to have to do this. Once that happened, um, the world got a little nervous. But they were like, the U.S. is like, hey, you could trust us. This is only temporary. It's only temporary. It's only for a few, that we're going to go right back. Well, that was in maybe 71, 72. So we realized it wasn't temporary. And that's the first time the U.S. is like, the world is like, the U.S. is some lying MFers. They said it was going to be temporary and they didn't. Um, from that point on, it's always been a fiat currency, and the U.S. has been drunk with their power over the world. Basically, it's like I don't have to keep balance sheets. I don't have to make this dollar make sense worldwide. I can just keep printing and printing and printing. Anytime I want something, I got the unlimited credit card. I'll just print whatever I need. And the world is looking at this like, whoa, this dollar is becoming unstable because the US is coming real drunk on it. They're not trying to stabilize their currency. So what you're talking about, Taz, and I think uh, Jay was talking about it too, is something they call BRIC, right? This is one aspect. BRIC is Brazil, Russia, India, China, all coming together and being like, yo, maybe let's not use the US currency because it is not stable. And this is going to be a big wake up call to everybody, especially to cats like us, regular Joes, because, like Dave's is saying, we do everything in dollars, right? We save dollars, we buy things, homes, cars, groceries. And now, because the US decided years ago to have an unstable dollar, the world is saying, hey, um, we want some more stability, and they're taking the punch bowl away from the United States because you've been drunk way too long.
Mm.
And so I am concerned. I feel like it's going to get way
Mm.
worse. Um, and the only thing the US can do is two things. Because remember, it's a fiat currency, it's a force currency. And so when the question is, well, what backs the US dollar now? We know it's not gold. So what backs it? Well, what does the US have more than any other country? Big ass muscles, big ass guns and missiles and everything. And so that being the case, if they say we're going to make you use this dollar, there's only one way they can really do it, and that is creating some BS reason to get into wars and forcing countries to do this. Now, this would be a problem because we know China ain't no bitch ass nigga, right? And they're gonna be like, yo, son, you ain't gonna just be slapping me around, making me do stuff.
Right.
I got guns too, and here we go. So I am concerned. I don't know where this is going to end up, but there's something called hyperinflation. You guys can look that up when you get an opportunity, and that just means that because less countries have less and less value in our dollar gets weaker and weaker and gets hyperinflated. Everything is like you paid, $3 for bread. Well, now it's $20 for bread because the US dollar is becoming almost like junk. And we don't think that this can happen, but as Tez is saying, Jay is saying, it's like we're reading it, we're noticing, we're getting closer to that happening. And I think the only way the US could do is try to create a stable dollar, but it would mean drastic, drastic changes in how we do business. And I don't know. I feel like this is a country that's loves to go to war rather than fix its own problems. So I think that'll happen.
Very
It's
stubborn in that
sad.
way. Yes, I can see that. Very
Yeah.
stubborn in that way because they have to
Um,
see a problem with what it is that they're doing to want to do something about it.
Right.
but
Right.
but the thing I see is, and I'm not disagreeing with you at all, Trey. I definitely agree. There's more factors in that, right? Because look at the pandemic. All the money that was given out, all the stops that were allowed, exposed the economy. And
Hmm.
I had a conversation with my boss, who's heavily conservative. And he's like, "Oh, the pandemic. So I mean, the recession's over." I'm like, "My man, we have not hit it. We have not hit this recession, right? 9/11 happened 2 years later than the recession hit, right? Same thing here. The pandemic ended what, last year, you could say. Give it another year or so, we'll be there. We'll be at the point where we, we're struggling again, and property value just goes up and up and up, and we can't afford it. Um, the thing is that we try to give out, and with the hyperinflation, is a case in point, is giving out all the money that, hey, it's here to help you because it fixes it's putting a band-aid on a gunshot wound, right? It's not helping the issue. It's
Yes.
stopping the issue for 2 seconds. And for those 2 seconds, you see a light, like, yes, I'm out of here. I'm good. But you're not seeing the problem that's coming, right? I was on unemployment. I was getting money. I was like, yeah, look at me. Da, da, da. I knew that my day would come. I filed my taxes. I had to pay a majority of that back. Smart enough. I kept that money so I could pay it back. But not many people did. And that's the mentality, is that we as society nowadays look towards the now and not towards the future. And in that, our nation is the same way, is built the same way. I don't defend a former president, but there is one thing that I can say that he was right on. The U.S. needs companies. It needs its own sustainability. Everything that we rely on is imports, from computers to plastic to clothes. We all get that from other countries. We don't get that from ourselves. So when that president put an embargo on China sending us stuff, what happened? Everything went up because now China has to find another way to send it here or send it more aggressively. And they also said, hey, you want to charge us more? All right, fuck yeah. We're going to charge you more. And that doesn't come out of the big politicians' pockets. That comes out of our pockets because we need that stuff. And therefore, I can go to the tech route. A graphics card naturally cost $300 when I started building computers. Now it costs about $1,500.
Mm,
Wow.
And that's because of that.
right.
Don't get me wrong, graphics cards are amazing. They can do really good things. Is it worth $1,500 for me to upgrade a graphics card? No. I could buy a freaking piece of shit card with that. And that piece of shit card get me to work every day. But the point is that we don't have anything to claim that we make, that we systematically own. We outsource everything. And that also in turn weakens the dollar because we don't have a trade to say, hey, we got this, here's for you. We don't sell our oil like that. We don't sell the corn that we used to have a plethora of stocks of, which I laugh because a couple years ago they limit how much corn you can sell and how much cows you can breed. I'm like, what are you talking about? But then you realize it's all control mentality. I'm not getting into conspiracy, Joe, but it's honestly it's a lot of, we shoot ourselves in the foot, and then when it comes time when the shit hits the fan, we do the band-aid measure, and that's the point.
Yeah. Um, no doubt. So you hit on some good stuff. Right. We need to be operating in a place of power and strength. I just took a moment to look at our national debt.
Oh man.
Our national
Hold on,
debt.
Is
hold
it
on, hold on,
how,
hold
how
on.
many
You ever?
how many digits?
Uh,
How many digits?
I'm
Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
all right. Our national debt is at 31 trillion. Right. And the question that I always have every year, because they always have to raise the ceiling on the national debt, and the question that never gets answered, and this is what I really want people to think about is how much debt is too much debt? Right now we have 31 trillion. Is 41 trillion enough? 50 trillion? 100 trillion? When do you say you're too much in debt? Right? Because that question never gets answered. So what we need is an economy where people are saving more, um, and we can spend down on our deficit. These are not conversations that people really have, right? We just talk about spend, spend, spend. You know, like you guys are saying, pandemic. Oh man, money. Okay, 2008 we had the financial crisis. Oh yeah, just give them money. You know, we having problems with the bank right now. Yeah, money. Yeah, we got money for days. We just have money. And it's like, well, where's this coming from? So the world is looking at, just like I went on the internet and saw how much our debt is. You don't think that China and everybody else knows what the U.S. debt is, and realizing you guys are way in a hole. There's no way you're going to be able to pay back your debts. So we going to party amongst ourselves because we really can't mess with y'all. You know, that's what the big issue is. We won't balance our books. We don't believe in paying off our deficits. We have no intentions of getting the debt down. And I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. To me, that has absolutely no bearing. You know, when the Democrats are in charge, they like to spend, spend, spend. When Republicans are in charge, they want to spend, spend, spend. So it takes a different mentality to try to fix this thing, and I don't think we're there.
Got you. Go ahead, Ness, Days, and then I'll go.
Um. So, I guess I can start this by saying, I guess explaining a personal philosophy of mine, and that's nihilism. I pretty much feel like nothing matters. But uh, nothing matters. So just have fun, right? Enjoy yourself.
YOLO.
So when it comes to that, I don't generally keep up to date with politics, economics, and all that. Um, but I make sure that I know people that do, and they can inform me in this way. And I'm taking this more of an education of what's going on.
Okay.
And in that regard, just understanding those things about me, um, my worry is kind of low only because I have so much other personal shit to worry about that it's like I don't want to add another thing to the plate. So I'll bask in my ignorance, and as they say, ignorance is
Mm-hmm.
bliss. So,
He's ghosting the issue.
yeah. But like it is serious. I recognize it as something serious, and I do understand how it'll affect me or how it can affect me. Um, it's just something I don't want to add to my plate of worries, essentially. Because not to go crazy, you gotta choose what you worry about. Um, and I mean, sometimes people don't have that choice. Sometimes they're just gonna worry about everything. That sucks, but I basically that's that. I choose the route of ignorance on it, at least in the sense of not worrying about it. I choose not to worry about it, even though I understand the impact and I understand how serious it is. Um,
Got it.
yeah.
All right.
So real
Yep.
quick, just to
Yep.
add to what he's saying, and to people listening, of course, the way it's going to affect us first is they're going to subtract all the money from Social Security. That's the money that we get deducted from every check, right? That we put in, that we hope that when we are old and we can't work anymore, that we can get back, right? So that's going to affect us in that, in public assistance, and many other ways. But I just want to just fill that in. I'm sorry.
It's all good. Go ahead, Days.
One more part to that. Sorry. And as like an extension of Nothing Matters. So whatever, right? Um, currency is fake. I just like all of it. Like to me, it's I understand its purpose. It's stupid. And it's not. It's not something that is needed in the way that we use it. And um, yeah, I mean, it's not something that uh, I feel is necessary, regardless of my needs for it, because that just happens to be, you know, how everything operates. So I need to have money because I need to pay my rent, I need to buy food, I need to do that. It shouldn't be a need, um, because there are other ways around that. Um, it's a matter of greed. It's a matter of lording over other people. It's just it's money's fake.
It's a tool.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people overlook it, but money ultimately to some people is a tool. You know, it's a way to connect the dots. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, the value of that dot is dropping. So you know, the price of some things going to be going up based on certain levels of conversation. You know,
Okay.
and
And are
going
you
back.
concerned? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh, oh, um, yeah, of course. I'm especially someone that plans on doing business and things like that. I'm very concerned. You know, and tapping into things that Dre and Ness and y'all was saying, like, you know, he said that the debt, and I believe they probably don't have a concern because some say they print money. You know, you got the Federal Reserve. People are just like in control of printing money. You feel what I'm saying? So why would you stop the debt from going up when you kind of close with the person that kind of prints the bread? You know what I mean? That kind of like makes up the imaginary number that you need to keep you going for like sake.
Okay. Uh, that was it. I don't want to cut you off.
Yeah, that was about it.
Okay. I didn't know if it was a long pause or if you was done. I said, all right, let me wait.
Dramatic effect.
Yeah, yeah. Sometimes we build up our shit.
Dramatic
You know what I'm
pause.
saying? Sometimes we be like, yeah, because what I really want niggas to know. You know what I'm saying? All right, so I'm gonna start by informing the audience about some of the things that we spoke about. You guys spoke about that they may or may not know, and then I'll respond. And so I'll start with fiat currency. What is fiat currency? Fiat currency is currency that lacks intrinsic value and is established as a legal tender by government regulation. Traditionally, currencies were backed by physical commodities such as silver and gold, but fiat money is based on credit worthiness of the issuing government, which means it's a trust system, right? And so it means, as Dre said, it's not backed by any tangible assets. It's nothing that is equal to. So when it was
It's like
backed
word
by
of mouth.
gold, huh?
It sounds like it's like backed by word of mouth.
It's a trust system. Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. It's a trust
yeah.
system. So, I believe in the day's dollar because I believe in days, but the day's dollar doesn't equal to shit in reality. So, a fiat currency means, like Dre was saying before, a dollar represented X amount of gold or X percentage of gold based on what we had allegedly. That's no longer. And so that's fiat currency. That's one of the definitions I wanted to explain to the audience just in case they did not know. And now, for something to be labeled a recession, it says there must be a period of temporary economic decline during which trade and industrial activity are reduced, generally identified by a fall in the GDP in 2 consecutive quarters. We had that already during COVID. And so, yes, and I said on my solo pod more than once, the government does not want to officially say we're in a recession because the boogeyman, right? They don't want people to be scared because people are scared of hearing the word recession. When you hear recession, you think, oh shit, the Candyman is coming. Oh shit, Bloody Mary's coming. Oh shit, problems are coming. And so that's why they have not labeled it a recession. But by definition, we have been in a recession for a while now. And so that's that. And the last thing I will tell the audience before I respond to everything everyone said is Social Security, which Tez mentioned. And this is from a government website. It says, as a result of changes to Social Security enacted in 1983, benefits are now expected to be payable in full on a timely basis until 2037, when the trust fund reserves are projected to become exhausted. That means in 2037, ain't nobody else getting any more fucking Social Security. And so that brings us all to me responding to the original question. Am I concerned with the current state of the dollar? Yes, I am. Like Dre, I have been concerned with the state of the dollar for a while. Yes, this alliance, quote unquote, BRIC, is making things really, really tricky. And that's why I brought the question here, because you have what BRIC, you have the BRIC situation, people removing themselves from the dollar. And we already were in a decline / recession for a while now, because when the pandemic hit, we all know hyperinflation began. And we all know that the cost of goods has increased drastically as a result. And so, what happens when our dollar is worth less in the eyes of the world? Dre already kind of touched light on, right? So, what happens is his example of bread, Tez's example of, what was your example, Tez? Oh, graphics cards.
There you go.
I got your back, player. So, the graphics cards, the bread are perfect examples, right? And so, the more it costs for us to import things or make things, because it is harder to pay for it, the more people are going to be charged. And so consumer goods, graphics cards, breads, eggs are a big deal out in these streets. People are really mad.
You forgot my example, Jay.
I'm sorry. Please forgive me. What was your example?
Pussy. Nah, my bad. I'm kidding.
See, that's why I'm scared of you.
First of all,
that's why I'm scared of
First
you.
of all, that's a whole nother.
Hold on.
That's a whole nother pod because cat's been raising the price.
Hold on. Before
I'm done.
Just to nip that in the bud real quick.
It's Taylor Swifters.
It has been on the proposition to legalize prostitution. I'm just saying.
My bad. I'm just finished.
I try to be quiet and let everybody go. You know what I'm saying? And then niggas cut me off to talk about pussy. See?
So you don't have a problem talking about that, son. Come on.
Nah, no, I'm being silly. Silly.
Okay, all right.
You see these damn men podcasters. Damn it. But back to the serious topic. So when cost of goods goes up, it becomes harder for us to pay for these things. And it is unfortunately tied to the fact that we don't know what the dollar is worth, because it's a trust system. When other nations or inside of our nation trust goes down for the dollar, so does the cost of good. The cost of good goes up. So as trust comes down, everything goes up, right? And so that's what everyone here is saying. It's really tricky. And yes, it is tied to the Fed, right? Because on every dollar printed is an amount of debt. And so the more we print money, the more we have to raise the debt ceiling. Everything everyone said here is true. For me, these are more, as everyone loves to say on the internet, red flags. And so we got all these red flags going on, and most people don't give a fuck. Most people are idly just living life and okay with it until something that they want goes up. Eggs have been all over the internet. People just putting up prices and showing pictures of, I can't believe a carton of eggs costs $8 now. This is ridiculous. Or when gas was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Nobody gave a fuck until
stealing gas out of people's cars. It was crazy.
That's what I'm saying. But before that, everybody was quiet. Mum's the word until it affects something you care about. And so that's one of the problems we have as a society, right? We don't give a fuck until it hits us in the mouth, right? You say, oh man, I saw that guy get robbed. Oh, I saw that guy get robbed. Nah, I didn't get robbed. Until you get robbed. And now you're like, man, this guy robbed me and he bloodied my lip. You know, he stained my brand
this
new
shit needs to stop.
Right, now it's a problem, you know? In the words of Eminem, now it's a travesty. And so I think the problem is that we are not looking at things on a national level. We're not looking things on a societal level. We're looking at things as individuals very often. And so when I say, well, I'm doing okay, yeah, but that don't mean everybody else in the pod is doing okay. If nobody else can afford to pay their rent, but you can, well, that's great for you. But the rest of your squad is suffering. The rest of society is suffering. The rest of your neighborhood is suffering. And so
Correct.
I think people forget how quick a purge can really happen. I'm taking us dark. I'm gonna just take us there. You know what I'm saying? Listen, when you can't get eggs, you can't get the milk, you can't pay for gas, you can't pay your rent, what you think people gonna do next? Don't have to answer. It could stay rhetorical. But what you think people gonna do next? And that's when people really gonna be upset. That's when it's like, oh nah, now I might have to eat my neighbor because I can't find any meat anywhere. Now I might have to chop up my neighbor with the machete and see what they taste like. That's when you gonna care. But see, that's the problem. If we
Or
shouldn't
I can
wait
mow
until
the
it
shit out of
becomes
his lawn. I can mow the shit out of his lawn and make me a salad. Goddamn it! Fuck you talking
all right, you enjoy that lawn, mowed lawn salad. Uh,
about.
I appreciate your optimism, but that's when it's gonna get real. And I think the problem is we very often look at things on an individual basis. Oh yeah, oh word, that's what's happening over there. Oh man, that's fucked up. What's happening in Tennessee? Yeah, but I'm good over here though. Everything is cool over here. Oh, that's what word. That's what they did in Utah. Oh man, that's crazy that my kid, if they lived in Utah, they couldn't use social media without permission. But I don't live in Utah, so fuck them. Okay, but remember, it's gonna come to you eventually, and we can't always wait till the problem knocks on our door to be concerned. And so yeah,
Correct.
I'm concerned about the U.S. dollar, and I have been. Go ahead, Dre. I see you.
Yeah, I'm about. You see, I'm getting post up. Yo, so yo, man, you hit everything on the head, and I just want to deep dive into a couple of things. So, uh, absolutely, right? It's like, well, why are people not concerned? Number one, not to sound like a conspiracy theorist, I don't believe in conspiracy
But
theory. I
conspiracy
believe in
facts.
conspiracy
Let's get
facts.
it.
Right. So there is a
That's right.
difference. So why is it that most people can tell you about Cardi B, Lizzo, the UFC
Hold on. Let me share
cats,
my screen and play them the Big
and
Short. Hold on.
18
What you said?
hold on, and 18 different, video games and what Marvel is doing, and like we know all that shit, right? It's like that's the thing that we keeping up with. And why not? We don't know about finance, whatever. It's nobody's fault, but these things are made to kept boring, right? They talk about it in a boring way. They use words that people don't understand. They don't want you to understand it. So this is why it's talked about by stiff shirt cats who use words that we don't really know or we're not trying to look up, and we're made to not be concerned about it. This is how you get away with shit because you don't have an educated populace. More people are concerned about who wins the NFL or the NBA finals or whatever than they are about the dollar, right? So what Nestor was saying is true. Ignorance is bliss. I don't know about it, whatever. But you're right. When shit comes knocking on the door, now it's like, wow, how did we get here? Well, we've been headed here. You just didn't take a chance to look out the window. You was busy on your device or whatever. You didn't see the direction we were going. And so, yeah, I agree. People have to snap out of Candyland and look at what's going on. The other thing I wanted to talk about is something else that Nestor said in terms of like currency being fake. And you're right, it is. And it's like exactly what Jay said. It's faith based. It's no different than whatever religion you believe in. It's no evidence of it. Everyone believes in, I'm just going to use the name for an example. Everyone believes in Jesus Christ or Horus or whatever they want to believe in, and then you base your life based on the belief. Well, currency is pretty much the same thing. It's this thing that we all just choose to believe in, pretty much because we're forced to. That's why the word fiat, you're kind of forced to do it, and we buy and sell and trade based on this like fake thing. Well, how do we get out of it? And here's the thing: it's going to be everything that you guys are saying. It's going to be it getting so bad, so many purges, so many collapses in the financial system, so many other countries saying we don't want to have anything to do with the U.S. dollar. unfortunately, in order for things to get better, things have to break, right? You don't worry about your microwave until it breaks. You don't worry about anything in your house until something goes wrong. Then you want to know how the TV works. Then you want to know how does this microwave work anyway? Now it's broken. You wasn't concerned about it before. And so the thing that Nestor was speaking on is a society based on abundance versus a society based on scarcity. When we have currency, is basically a society based on scarcity. It says there's not enough of things, and so hoard as much as you can, and create this rich poor dynamic where I have more of the things than you have. That's a scarcity mindset, and currency is the underlying of that. When you don't have currency, like Nestor is talking about, then you have a society based on abundance, where it's like we don't need to buy and sell. If you need something, just go get it. You hungry? Just walk to the store, get what you want. There's no currency. You just get what you need. You need a new phone. Well, take your old phone back, get the new one, and there you go. That's a society based on abundance. Could we ever get there? Yeah, but the only way we're going to get there is every other system has to fail. There's no way people are going to be like, yeah, that sounds like a good system. Let's do it. No. Everything else is going to have to fail. Every currency is going to have to break down. It's going to be some real hard times. All that purge stuff, watch the Book of Eli. Understand what they're trying to say in that. When things really get so hard that we have to look and say, everyone's suffering. We need a new way of looking at things. Then people can look at systems that are based on abundance and say, hey, maybe the whole currency thing was dumb, but that's going to take, we won't be here. It'll probably take your kids' kids. You know what I'm saying? It'll be Days the Third that will maybe come up with that. You know what I'm saying? But we won't be here. It would be so horrible that it will take generations of darkness for us to get to the light. And I just wanted to kind of like illuminate that
that's cool.
that piece.
Does anybody want to respond before I share my screen? I had to pull it up, son. Please hold. Gotta do this because when it's already out there, you gotta show them the shit.
Therapist called. You did it again.
There were no cabs. What was I supposed to do?
You're running around like you have to right every wrong.
Okay. Fine. You know what? I'm a mean guy and I'm pissed off. You have no idea the kind of crap people are pulling, and everyone's walking around like they're in a damn Enya video. They're all getting screwed, You know what they care about? They care about the ball game. Or they care about what actress just went into rehab.
I think you should try medication.
Very quick.
Is that Steve Carell?
Of course. You never seen The Big Short?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a movie I definitely want to see, but I haven't had a chance to see.
I
But
believe it's on Netflix.
I've seen a few clips.
I'm not used to that being
homework.
I'm not used to that being
homework. Everybody got homework.
There you go. See what we did?
Nah, check that out.
See what we did?
Yeah, see how we got you.
You know what I'm saying? Gotcha. We got him.
No.
You know what I'm saying?
But the biggest part of that clip, thanks for showing that, is he's saying what people are concerned about.
Yep.
He's saying in that clip, the dude, he's showing that, all these indications are showing that there's going to be a huge collapse. Right. No one's talking about
this. They don't give a fuck.
And I'm the crazy guy because I'm shouting, this is about to happen. And everyone's like, we partying. I want to hear about that. You're corny. You're weird. The market is doing great. He's like, no, but look at all the indications. And so when people are like, I was taken by surprise and nobody knew. No, people knew. You didn't hear them. You weren't looking. You were more concerned about what some celebrity was doing in their life. You was watching Gwyneth Paltrow have the skiing accident. You know what I'm saying? The skiing accident than you were more about, your finances. But like I said, it's not your fault because that shit is made to be boring so you won't pay attention.
Well, I believe that even if they seen it, because we joke about this all the time with like artists and shit like that, gangster rappers, quote unquote. But I'll take it further. I'll be like, they could watch a motherfucker play with alligators and he could die at the hands of an alligator and motherfuckers would be surprised. I'd be like, he was doing some alligator shit. Like, like how are you surprised that he died at the hands of an alligator and he was doing some alligator shit? Like, this is what he do. You feel what I'm saying? So I have reason to believe that they could watch you go through the entire ordeal. Like they could be watching the whole money ordeal. You know, Jay, we talk about this like it's like them sitting in on a news. You know, when they're giving out information, they'll be at the podium saying a whole bunch of shit, and somebody will be like, "Oh my God, he said that," and you'll be like, "Damn, that's what you heard." Out of that whole thing, that's what you heard. So I believe that they could see the whole ordeal and still miss it. Some way, somehow, they'll still be shocked. You feel what I'm saying?
That's what the system is designed to do, right? And so that's what Dre is saying, and I agree. It's boring, not boring, whatever. The whole thing is misinformation and distraction, right? That's the game. It's look left so I could go right. You know what I'm saying? Hey, what's that on Dave's wall? So I could do some total different shit you're not paying attention to. You know what I'm saying? In the movie Lucky Number 11, they call that a Kansas City shuffle. It's when everybody goes right and you go left. And so that's the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? That is what the system is designed to do. It's so you could say, oh yeah, but Beyonce didn't win the Grammy she should have won. Oh, you know, this happened at the Super Bowl. You know, wow, you know, I can't believe that the refs fucked up the Eagles Super Bowl. And that's what we're gonna talk about for the next month.
Hey. Some of us are still better, okay?
Well,
Take it easy.
But I'm saying that's what happened, right? That's the whole thing. The whole thing is look at what's going on in the Colosseum and forget about what Rome is doing.
Now we talking. Man, see
bars.
Bars. No, and it's so important because you got to understand that this is nothing new. This has been going on. So we know Rome as a society fell. Well, how did Rome fall? Well, you know what hyperinflation is, right? Rome overextended itself, more wars, more land, overextending on every part of the planet, wasn't really paying attention to what was going on at home. People saw the weakness of the city. Rather than really addressing the issues, they were like, you know what? Let's put on some more gladiator battles. That'll get cats, you know, and so we could just continue doing our sneaky shit. And eventually it fell. The people didn't know because they were more concerned about the new gladiator than they were about what their senators were doing.
Exactly.
And so that's why it's nothing new. It's like we've seen this before time and time again. You know, and so to think that the United States is somehow special and blessed that it won't succumb to its own demise.
Well, that's because it's blessed by God.
Wishful thinking.
Oh boy.
I just lost the 10 subscribers.
I always have an issue with that because I feel like when they say it, you could be asking for it too. It's like, God bless America. It's not like he did it. It's like they asking for him to do it too. So I don't know.
Well, yeah, you know,
What if
we know that
this
Anakin,
is the blessing, the impending failure?
Like I was about to say, we know that Anakin is supposed to bring, you know, balance to the Force, but we didn't know he was going to smash everything.
All right.
Then bring balance.
Then I'll
to
bring
the
balance.
So you know,
kill the younglings.
Right. The balance will come, but it's gonna be mad destruction. I'm gonna kill every Jedi that I see. I'm gonna kill them on the movies. I'm gonna kill them on the video games. I'm killing Jedi, son.
Well,
I'm gonna get other people to kill Jedi.
You gotta destroy to rebuild.
That's it.
Well, there
The bridge
you go.
is over.
And so lock yourself in for the road of destruction we're coming towards, because that's really what's
Dre
happening.
talking like it's gonna be Mad Max out here.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's possible.
Days, I'm gonna say this quote because you already know. Guns and butter.
That's it.
I was gonna say situation,
Guns and butter.
situational and circumstance.
Bro. It's gonna be guns and butter.
Guns and butter.
It's gonna be guns and butter, bro. It's gonna be guns and butter. That's what's gonna matter at the end of the day. if you got it and I don't, well, I'm gonna need this
That's-
gun to get your
that's
butt.
it.
Right. Dog eat dog. That's
Yeah.
far fetched.
That's it.
You know, and we don't think this. We're high society.
That's right.
We're we have this bullshit first world, second world, third world. All right, y'all believe in all that if y'all want
Until you
what's
fall.
Right. And I just feel like, start paying attention. Asking those kind of questions. How much debt is, when somebody's like, I'm running to make things right, I'm going to do blah blah blah. Just have a simple question for them. How much debt can the US, maintain? 30, 50, 80, 6, like, well, how much?
Right.
That's been my question for the past 20 years, and no one has been able to answer it.
And then they introduced Fed Now. All right, let me stop.
Oh,
That's
man.
that's a
Don't
coming.
do that. Don't do that.
That's a
In
coming.
conclusion. In conclusion.
Oh, yeah.
In conclusion,
Right.
Fed Now coming soon.
That's a whole nother.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the beginning. That's the beginning of the purge right there.
You know what I'm
Facts.
saying? Cash App who? Your founder died. Ooh. Now I'm ODing.
That's the beginning of the purge right now. No, you're not.
They
ODing,
purging
but
in
you're
different.
dropping those
They
hints. That's
purging
like
in different ways.
start. Oh, that's the whole. That's why the purge is the flyest joint out there. Because in order to make a movie, I'm big in the movies. I know y'all big in the movies too. Movies has to exaggerate something to try to make a point. And so the purge is only exaggerating something to make this point that, hey, you're going to get to a point where we have all these social services and you can't pay for everybody. So how do we kind of get rid of people without getting rid of people? Or have them get rid of each other?
There you go.
Damn.
All right.
So
And
yeah.
And we're doing it
Nab
on a
that
smaller
fool.
scale. On a smaller scale, we're doing it. On a smaller scale, we're doing it. Or even on a broader scale, we're doing it. In a lot of different ways, we're doing it.
Yeah.
Especially in the hood. Especially in the hood, they're doing it.
Right.
Well, that's
So
the hood
keep
is
up
their
the good
their
work.
favorite playground.
Absolutely.
Of course.
However, for those that seen the movie, during the purge in the hood, what were they doing? They were partying, they were civil, they were in solidarity. It wasn't until they planted an ambush. So
That's right.
with that being said, we were in solidarity. We were not killing each other, we were chilling. And they plotted an ambush, and that set everything off.
Purge parties, baby.
These stupid purge parties.
Yeah.
No, that's what they was doing.
Yeah.
That's exactly what it was.
That's what they was calling them. If you watch the movie The First Purge, the first thing cats do is like, I don't know what the fuck a purge is, but we're gonna have this purge party tonight. Purge party at Nestor's crib. Everybody go to Nestor's purge party. If you watch the first Purge, that's what they did.
Right. And the government wasn't satisfied with that. They wasn't satisfied with people being harmonious, and they sent in agitators to get the party started.
The real party.
You know what I'm saying? Right. The objective they were trying to get. And so Days, you're right. It's like, okay, you look at these things, you realize, wow, even in our most dire circumstances, most of the time people come together.
Correct.
I live someplace where we have like a lot of hurricanes and stuff like that. When all the chips are down, people just start, I'm gonna start grilling, you bring this, and there's this harmonious thing. Well, that is not the aspect that some people want.
Correct.
And so they will bring in agitators who have the full blessing of the state to get a certain result.
Order 66.
And there you go. See,
You see? Sometimes I just want to put that little last drop in there.